I know you have your problems, John, but I live here in Hollywood. I have to live amongst people, most of who think it's cool to wear the kafaya to the Oscars and to say, free Palestine,
Yeah.
as if Palestine would be liberated by living under Hamas. By the way, Israel, geniuses educated on TikTok, was liberated in 2005 by Israel. Israel gave it back and said, here, you have your land again, you do something with it, and this is what they did with it.
Yeah. I mean,
They made it into a fortress, didn't spend it on the people or turning it into any sort of, it could have been Dubai.
I agree. And I sat with Bill Clinton. We were campaigning in Harris. And I was like, hey, thanks for your work. And Clinton, he reminds, it's like, yeah, we offered them 96% of the
Right.
West Bank, and East Jerusalem was the capital. Here you
Right.
go. For 25 years, they could have rebuilding that into
Yes.
Dubai or whatever that they want. They did not want a two-state solution. Their one-state solution, as you always
Yeah.
point out, like
From the river to the
sea, what's in there? Exactly.
I mean, just look at a map. We know where
Yeah,
the river is.
look at the map. Look at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I've never understood the far left folks who, are pro-Gaza or Gaza apologists. For the life of me, I don't understand it, especially when you have the leadership over there, in Hamas and these other places living this, extravagant lifestyle, while the people basically, live in abject poverty. I just don't get it. And a lot of these people, I think it's, what they're being taught, in these academic, facilities that, everything outside of our country is bad. Capitalism's bad, and everything that's positive about our country, more or less, not outside, but positive, is negative, and they're being told the opposite with hopes that these will be the thought leaders in 20 to 30 years that will send the country backwards into the Stone Age, or even worse, they are able to implement the one world government and implement socialism and eventually communism that will enslave America and take the one place that is a bastion of hope in the world and turn it into something that, would be unrecognizable for the most of us. But let's keep going.
The things that he says aloud, the way he just voices his interior monologue, there is something not exactly psychologically normal about someone who just vomits their interior monologue, but it gives him a authenticity with people that no one else can possibly match. I saw his interview with Norah O'Donnell after the shooting, like the next day, and she quotes the assassin who called him a pedophile, Hitler, or whatever he called.
Yeah.
I mean, pedophile. Could any of the things be true? Yes, anything could be true, but like to just go right to, it's the ballroom syndrome again. Let's just go right to the worst thing because we hate this guy. And that pissed him off a lot. I could see both sides. As a reporter, it is news. Also, it's giving access to the president from the terrorist, I would say, that's terrorism, assassination, nut. You're giving his message. Okay, you could make a case for either one, but his reaction immediately was to her, you're a terrible person. And he didn't just think it. Like any politician, that's exactly what they're thinking. He just says it. Like, if that's what's in his head, you're a horrible person. You're a disgrace. You're a horrible
Yeah,
and it's like,
I think that's the thing that people appreciate about the president is that he doesn't sugarcoat how he feels, where he stands. You know it because he's going to let you know. There's a lot of people that when that lady asked him that question and the way she phrased it, she could have phrased it better. Lord knows the way they handle President Joe Biden with kid gloves. You're not going to tell me that they could not have handled and phrased that question better, but they did that on purpose. It's legacy media. It's done on purpose to try to, demonize the president, to try to make him look bad, to try to make Republicans look bad. That's what they do because legacy media is a arm of the DNC, and they don't have any interest in either humanizing the president or trying to make him look good. It's full go, make him look bad, orange man bad at all cost. And I appreciate the fact that he's willing to say, you know what, y'all are terrible. That was a terrible question. You are awful people. I appreciate it. And I'm sure there are a whole heck of a lot of people in the country that feel the same way. And I'm sure there's a plethora of politicians that had they been asked the question the same exact way, across their mind, they would have been like, man, this piece of crap. But they would have gritted teeth, smile, and gave a PC answer. And I'm glad that our president doesn't do that.
It's at the same time horrifying and also like, it's kind of like refreshing. It's shockingly the honesty. As someone who loves honesty and has made my career about it as much as I could, it is, there's some level of it where you tip your hat and you go, wow, total honesty. I think you're a horrible person, and I'm just going to say it.
The ultimate, the quiet piggy.
Right. Yeah.
That's the president of America.
No, that's
a quiet piggy.
That's why I don't.
I mean, it's like all you can do is just, like
I don't get mad when he sends out these tweets anymore about me. It's like, because the next day, I feel like it's forgotten. Yeah, I don't know.
That a long time ago, yeah.
I don't know if he remembers.
He's got a lot on his plate, man. So he gets it off his chest and he moves on. Most people should be like that, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, we have a lot of people in politics. They're phony as all get out. You never really know exactly who they are, what they're about, and where they stand. And I can appreciate knowing exactly where people stand. And I'm like that. If you don't like me, please tell me you don't like me. If you love me, please tell me that you do. But I don't like the gray area, and I don't like the people that smile and then they got a whole bunch to say behind my back. I can't stand that. I didn't like it in corporate America. I still do not like it today. And you guys know what I'm talking about. You ever work in the office or whatever, and you get the little lady or whatever that when you walk by, she gives you that fake smile and then keeps it moving, and you never speak to her again. And they probably have a bunch of craziness to say behind your back. I cannot stand the fake smile. The fake smile drives me crazy. I'd rather you just mean mug me and keep it moving. Don't give me the fake smile. ARP family, here's the part nobody talks about enough. A lot of you did everything right. You worked for decades, you saved, you built something for the future. And now inflation, policy decisions, global instability, all of it is starting to put that at risk. Not because you messed up, but because the system itself is getting more unstable. And when you really think about it, most retirement accounts are still fully tied to that system. So if it moves, everything moves. That's why more people are asking a different question. Not just what happens next, but how exposed am I? And for some, that means looking at ways to protect at least a portion of what they've built outside of that system, things like physical gold. And that's what led me to Augusta Precious Metals. They take the time to walk you through how it works step by step and help you decide if it even makes sense for you. No pressure, just good information. If you'd like to learn more, go to writeforgold.com, writeforgold.com, or text FAITH, FAITH, to 35052 just to understand your options, because you worked too daggone long to build this to leave it fully exposed. Now let's get back into the video. I gotta say, I appreciate John Fetterman here by, just calling it out, man. Calling out the Democrat Party is something that he's been doing. He's not afraid to do, but I appreciate him doing it.
They are the people that the emerging, that's our new class of mascots for our party. And now many of the people that are running for the Senate are campaigning with these kinds of people.
Well, I mean, just the word communism or being called a communist, not that long ago, was a dirty word, as it should be. We did try it, communism all over the world. It's a nightmare, but it's not a dirty word anymore on the left.
Plattner in Maine absolutely identified himself as a communist.
Right,
100%.
And
so has Mamdani. And so has a host of other people.
And so does Mamdani's main lieutenant, that Sia Weaver in New York, head of the movement to get the rents fixated or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know
well,
what. She says
home ownership is racist,
right,
and
but
it's white supremacy.
She's also tweeted out, elect more
Yeah,
communists.
we
I
want
mean,
to impoverish, white middle income families. It's part of the extreme, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's ironic in my cycle that the Republicans try to spend tens of millions of dollars to convince people that I was a socialist, and now I'm accused of gone MAGA after voting 93% Democrat.
No,
but communism now, that's not
it's
disqualifying.
Not that, it's not that anybody's gone MAGA. It's that you're gone gaga. You're fucking nuts. You're crazy. You'd say crazy shit. Like, I mean, the woman we're talking about, all home ownership is racist. In a country where 20 million black people own homes, queers for Palestine.
Or when your mother,
you're self-contradictory.
Yeah, their mother has a $2 million home in like Tennessee or whatever, and it's just
Kamala.
What?
Kamala Harris.
Oh,
just
no,
bought.
I'm referencing
I know.
Mandami's house czar.
Yeah.
But I did read that
Kamala
she purchased a $9 million home in Malibu.
And she should. That's fine. This is America.
Yeah, I agree. No judgment.
Yeah, she's got a big baller house in Malibu.
Yeah, but these people are hypocrites. They'll get out there and say we got to tax the rich. Rich people are evil, and they're buying $9 million homes. Now, a $9 million home in Malibu, it's probably a decent sized home, but out in California, in the grand scheme of things, where a Cracker Jack box, will run you, 800 to 1.2 million, depending on where you are in the state. Maybe $9 million isn't as big and lavish as we would think it is, but still $9 million is $9 million. That's a lot of bread. And for most of us, if we ever obtain $9 million, we would assume that we are set for life, right? But yet you will get somebody like a Kamala Harris that will come out here and say, we got to do all this, that, and the third. Instead of you spending $9 million on your second or third home, how about you take that bread and help people that are in need, like those out in California that has the largest homeless population in the country. Just saying.
They went to Cuba in support of the regime. This is what is just so insane about the far left, and why are we so stupid, John, that we are criticized? That is why, because they're stupid, because they go to Cuba in support of the regime, which has done nothing but I know people who've been to Cuba. If you think you know poverty in America, you have no idea what poverty is.
Exactly.
And that's been going.
I would agree with that 1,000%. If you think you are oppressed, you think you are a victim, you think you know poverty in America, you know absolutely nothing. There are people all around the world that are like, hey, send me to the place to where the poor people are fat.
On for 67 years. It didn't just start when we took away their oil.
Exactly. And those people that visit there, do they know that they're useful idiots, or they are that clueless that they're absolutely, you are backing a regime that's trapped this entire nation in extreme poverty and misery, and we are there like they're so great down here.
Because Cuba could, again, be another like Gaza. It could be, instead of, Gaza could be Dubai and Cuba could be St. Bart's. It could.
Or anything. Anything.
It's Cuba. Yeah. It's in the Caribbean. And it's just been this nightmare for the better part of a century now. And yeah, we're trying to do something about that. And here's the kicker of this story. They're in Cuba, like you say, these assholes in their $1,300 designer glasses going down to support the people. They're staying like in the one hotel that's a luxury hotel that while the people have no electricity, everything they're doing is air conditioned, the bus. They cosplay, sort of going into a field with the farmers, I think, for a minute. And you know what they visited while they were in Cuba, like sightseeing on their whirlwind tour? They went to the North Korean embassy, and one of them tweeted out, our solidarity with North Korea for being two regimes that are against U.S. violence. The level of stupidity of these kids, that they know one thing, This country, America, is the worst one that's ever been. We have done nothing but evil. That's really how they've been indoctrinated. It's, aside the fact that it's terrible for our national security, it's just wrong. It's just stupid. You're stupid. You're factually wrong. This country has done bad things like every country has. On a relative scale, we've actually been way better.
He's absolutely right there. And with that being said, we're going to wrap the video, but Bill Maher is absolutely right. And I'm glad that he's finally decided that, hey, enough's enough, man. I got to call out the left. I got to call it out how I see it. The politicians, the crazy far left, protesters. I'm glad that he's calling these lunatics out. It's unfortunate because they gain a lot of this information from these liberal indoctrination camps known as colleges and universities all around the country. And they get told things like communism is good, socialism's a net positive for their country. And we got to just, take from, the people that decide to do the right thing and work their tails off. And maybe they've been blessed and fortunate. And we got to steal from them and give it to the people that want to do nothing with their life. The people that do nothing but take. They don't add value to the country in really any shape, way, form, or fashion. While they go out and buy $9 million homes, while they're worth 30, 40, $50 million, I'm talking about the politicians, that say this type of foolishness, like in AOC and Bernie Sanders and, all these types of guys. But I'm glad that they're being called out. I'm glad that you have John Fetterman there, willing to call it out. And I know, a lot of folks thought that, he would have switched, he'd come on over to this side of things, but he's just saying, you know what? I'm not a Republican, but I'm also not a far left progressive. The crazy thing is that if you're not a far left progressive, they would assume that you are not a Democrat. And the fact that they believe him and Bill Maher, are more close to the center, to them, it sounds like they're pro-MAGA and they're Republicans. When in all actuality, that is probably the case. They're closer to this side of things than they are to the lunatics, on the far left. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts on any of this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family. Buy your brother a coffee. Cash App's in the link in the description box below. All of those links are down there. Hey, I appreciate the love, support, man. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. In the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.